Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot. It's the weekend of July 15th. It is the day of WWE Extreme Rules. So I'm just gonna kind of be reviewing, going through the match lineup for tonight, kind of giving my predictions, what I think is going to happen, some of the rumors surrounding the pay-per-view. So first of all, hope everybody's enjoying the show as always, and please make sure you're following on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Just search Catch, Hook, and Shoot. You should find the show. And yeah, you can find the podcast on pretty much anywhere you would find any of your other podcasts: Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Of course, the home of Catch, Hook, and Shoot is Podbean, and you can get the video feed on YouTube as well as just the audio podcast. So please make sure to check it out. Like, follow, subscribe. Feel free to give any questions, comments, criticism, whatever it might be. I welcome it all. If you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. I actually got an interesting comment last week on YouTube when I kind of shot back at what I had to say about Brock Lesnar and the UFC and Dana White and that kind of thing. I'm not going to get into detail about it, but, like I said, I welcome any kind of criticism as long as it's respectful, but this one not so much, because of course everybody likes being a keyboard warrior. So whatever, say what you got to say. Doesn't really affect me too much, but like I said, I welcome any comments or criticism, especially if it's respectful and constructive. Anything you think I could do to make the show better, anything that you'd like to see or hear me talk about, pretty much anything you want to say, I welcome it all. So like I said, questions, comments, put it up on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, any place you can find the show. So diving into the pay-per-view here, there's a lot of matches on the card. Of course, WWE has been increasing the time of their pay-per-views from the 3 hours to 4 hours. Looks like that's probably going to be a permanent thing. And with of course, the big four pay-per-views being even longer. Not necessarily a bad thing with the size of the roster they have between Raw and SmackDown. And of course, you include 205 Live in that, as well as, possibly, I don't know if they're ever going to move like the any of the UK competitors or NXT people onto the main roster pay-per-views, but of course the longer running times would definitely allow for that. So diving right in here on the pre-show, there's going to be two matches on the countdown show, I should say. First one's going to be Sin Cara versus Andrade Cien Almas. This should be a great match. I mean, these guys are both fantastic in the ring. Not a big storyline leading up to this one. It's kind of a secondary storyline on SmackDown. Basically just that, they've both known each other for a long time. We're friends in Mexico and things like that. And, basically that Almas kind of changed and became a different person once he lost the mask and picked up Selena Vega as his manager. So, that's kind of the background on this one. Definitely looking for Almas to come out on top. Sin Cara, as good as he is, unfortunately is more of an enhancement talent these days. So it'll most likely probably be a fairly quick match because it is on the countdown show. And it's just going to be to kind of advance Almas and make him look strong going forward on SmackDown. So this is his first really main roster storyline. So I think they're just kind of using this as kind of a launching point for him. And you probably see him move on to a different storyline fairly quickly after this pay-per-view. Second match on the countdown show is the New Day versus Sanity in a tables match. This is interesting to me because it's just really contrasting styles. Of course, New Day's been one of the top teams in WWE for the last several years, and Sanity, of course, just came up from NXT. Sanity is they kind of have that Shield vibe almost. Obviously, it's not the same thing. That's why I say almost. But that pack mentality and just very, very brutal, very hardcore, I guess you could say, is their style. And Eric Young, definitely a great fit for this group. He's just I don't know how many of you guys followed Eric Young's career through TNA and things like that up through WWE, but he's had such a wide range of characters. I mean, he's always been Eric Young, but he started off, of course, in TNA with Team Canada, and just a lot of evolution there. Was a comedy act for a little while. He was paired up with ODB for a while. He's very versatile and he's very good in the ring. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with him on the main roster. I'm sure, going forward, Sanity is going to be a group. I don't think they're going to split off anybody and into singles competition necessarily outside of the group. I mean, obviously they're going to have singles matches, but I don't think they're going to split the group up or anything like that, just because they are very over with the fans. So I think this should be a good match. So, I mean, New Day's a great team. Again, the chemistry with all three of the guys in New Day is fantastic. I wasn't a big fan of the New Day when they first started off, and they slowly kind of grew on me, I guess you could say, because New Day is one of the top teams in WWE right now. So, like I said, this is going to be a tables match, so I would assume it's standard table match rules. You have to put all three members of the other team through tables in order to get the victory. Again, kind of like with the Andrade Almas and Sin Cara match, I'm looking for Sanity to probably come out on top in this one, because this is their first real storyline since being brought up to the main roster. So it's more than likely, I would say this would be kind of a push-off point for them to have them come out looking strong. And so I'm thinking Sanity's going to come out on top in this one. Moving on to the Raw Women's Championship, of course, we have Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax in an Extreme Rules match with the added, not really stipulation, but lost the word I was looking for. But anyway, Ronda Rousey's going to be sitting ringside for this one. Of course, she's been suspended from Raw for attacking Kurt Angle, and so she's suspended for 30 days. I want to say there's probably about 2 weeks left in that suspension, but she's supposed to be front row at Extreme Rules for this match. So definitely look for her to get involved at some point. Again, it is an Extreme Rules match, so there's not going to be any kind of DQs or anything like that. I think more than likely Alexa is going to come out on top in this one and retain the Women's Championship. This is going to kind of be used to advance the Alexa and Ronda Rousey rivalry. So obviously Ronda's going to get involved in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made such a big deal about her being ringside for this one. But I do think Alexa's going to come out retaining the championship, possibly due to some kind of interference from Ronda, maybe, trying to get at Alexa. She ends up doing something to Nia, and that's how Alexa wins. So I think it's going to be a little interesting three-way rivalry here for at least a little while. I don't think Nia is going to be completely pushed out of the title picture. But I think the main part of this storyline is going to play out to be Alexa and Ronda Rousey, possibly at SummerSlam for the Women's Championship. It could end up being a triple threat for the Women's Championship. WWE seems to like to go that direction quite a bit, so that wouldn't surprise me at all to see at SummerSlam all three of them in the ring for the Women's Championship. But tonight, definitely look for Alexa to come out on top and retain the title. Moving on from there, the Raw Tag Team titles. You've got the Deleters of Worlds, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt against the B Team of Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. I really like this rivalry just because I like seeing Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas working together. They, of course, I'm sure everybody knows they are brothers. Their father, of course, is Mike Rotundo, known as IRS, throughout a good portion of his career in WWE. So, and I just think that, the two of them work so well together, even going back to when they were both in NXT. If you go back on the network, watch some of the early NXT shows where Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt actually had a bit of a rivalry going on. They had some great matches together. And, they just, obviously they're brothers. They work really well together. I'm sure they've been, wrestling each other their whole lives. So it only makes sense that they work really well together. And I like seeing the B Team kind of get this chance, this opportunity, because Dallas and Axel, both second, actually third generation superstars, and I don't think they haven't been given really any solid storylines other than being the Miz Taraj for a while. And things like that. They've been relegated to kind of almost a comedy act in some aspects. So with the Miz leaving Raw and the two of them staying on Raw and excuse me, and forming their own tag team, yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for them. I think they have taken the ball and ran with it, so to speak. They've of course, been doing little parody videos of Hardy and Wyatt, and just building a good rivalry, playing pretty good heels. So this should be a good match. I don't expect the B team to win, but I don't think it would be a huge surprise if they did. I mean, kind of along the same lines as Jinder Mahal getting the world title. Put the straps on them, see what they can do with it. Kind of sink or swim. Here's your chance. Do what you can. And I think that'd be pretty good to see. It'd be something different. Definitely outside the norm, because you're so used to seeing certain teams with the title most of the time. So it would definitely be a little bit of a curveball. So it wouldn't be a total surprise to see the B team come out with the titles, but I think more than likely you're going to see Hardy and Wyatt retain in this one. Next, we've got the SmackDown Women's Championship. Of course, is a rematch between Carmella and Asuka. James Ellsworth will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage. So, I'm not really sure on this one. I mean, not super fond of this rivalry. I'm a fan of both women. Carmella has definitely improved by leaps and bounds since coming up from NXT and kind of being separated from Enzo and Cass. And of course, of that threesome, she's the only one left still in WWE that hasn't gotten herself in some kind of trouble one way or another. So that, I think that says a lot about Carmella and her work ethic and things like that. She's gotten much better in the ring. Her mic skills were pretty good to begin with. So, and she's just improving every week that I see her on TV. I see, a lot of improvement on her part, and she's done a good job as the women's champion, as a heel champion in general. Of course, I think a lot of people were shocked last month when she actually got a victory over Asuka, of course, with the help of Ellsworth, which, that's something that makes a good heel. You have that manager there to help you get the victory and retain your championship. So I think it should be a decent match. Like I said, I'm just not a big fan of the rivalry. I like both women. I just don't think there's not a lot of substance to the rivalry with these two. It's just, that's building now. It's not just, champion and challenger. You got Ellsworth involved in last month's pay-per-view. So I kind of added a little bit of fuel to the fire. So we'll see how this one goes, if this is the end of the rivalry here, or if it's going to continue on into SummerSlam, or if they go a different direction with the SmackDown Women's Championship and who the next challenger would be. So, but yeah, I'm expecting Carmella to come out with the championship in one way or another. Just because Ellsworth is in a shark cage doesn't mean he can't get involved. How many times have you seen that? The manager's, suspended above the ring, he can't interfere, but he's, ends up interfering anyway, one way or another, throwing a foreign object to their guy or girl in this case. So we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, like I said, I expect Carmella to come out still with the Women's Championship in this one. And of course, with the SmackDown Tag Team titles, we've got the Bludgeon Brothers against a newly reunited Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane. This one I just think should be an entertaining match. The Bludgeon Brothers, I think, are one of the more underrated teams in WWE. Harper and Rowan, I've been a big fan of both of them since they were part of the Wyatt family. Luke Harper, a lot of people say he reminds them so much of Bruiser Brody, which he does. He's like the reincarnation of Brody for the modern age, and that's definitely meant as complimentary towards Luke Harper. And because Bruiser Brody, one of the all-time great big guys in the ring, and Harper is definitely well on his way there. So, and Eric Rowan, same thing. I like that they're talking a little bit more. Of course, they don't have that mouthpiece of Bray Wyatt anymore, but they're talking for themselves. Not too much. They're not overdoing it with the promos and things like that. They kind of say just enough what needs to be said, and they let their actions speak for them as far as just sheer brutality and what they do in the ring. So I'm definitely looking forward to this match. Of course, Team Hell No. I mean, you've got Daniel Bryan, one of the best in-ring competitors in the world, and Kane, another one of the best big men ever to set foot in the ring. So you've got three of the best big guys in the business right now, and Daniel Bryan all in the ring at the same time. So I think it's definitely going to be a great match. Rumors surrounding this one is that The Miz is somehow going to get involved, probably cost Team Hell No championship, and that's going to be the kind of kickoff for the rivalry with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, which is ultimately going to culminate at SummerSlam. Rumor about that is that they're trying to get this done because Daniel Bryan still has not signed a new contract with WWE. They don't know whether or not he's going to, so they want to get the matches in that the people want to see, and I think the main one that a lot of people want to see is Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Because that is such a deep rivalry. It goes back to when Daniel Bryan first came into WWE in the original NXT, when it was like the reality show type format, when Miz was the pro and Daniel Bryan was his rookie, so to speak. And so, the rivalry goes back a long way. Of course, The Miz still uses Daniel Bryan's yes kicks, calls them the it kicks. So, it's just a lot there. So I think it's going to be some great build-up and obviously a great match because The Miz and Daniel Bryan, I don't think the two of them together would be capable of putting on a bad match. They're two of the best right now in WWE, and I would go as far to say in professional wrestling, period. So that's pretty much, I think, going to be the gist of this match. It's going to be a fantastic match, but in the end, it's going to be kind of a launching point for The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Next up, this is probably the match I'm looking the most forward to, is a 30-minute Iron Man match for the Intercontinental Championship between Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Of course, Ziggler is going to have Drew McIntyre in his corner, so definitely look for him to get involved at some point. Again, these are two of the best in the business, and in a 30-minute Iron Man match, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go kind of along the same lines as Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in their Iron Man match back at WrestleMania 12, I believe it was. Where it went 0-0 all the way down to the buzzer. I could definitely see the two of these guys pulling off that same kind of thing. For me, this is probably going to be the match of the night. And I'm absolutely expecting this one to steal the show. So not too much more I can say about that. It's just going to be a fantastic match. Then next up, we've got AJ Styles versus Rusev for the WWE Championship. This one, again, I think it's going to be a good match. Of course, AJ, in my opinion, is the absolute best in the world right now. A lot of people would argue with that, which, of course they can. There's a lot of guys out there you could make the argument for, like Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, guys like that. And, but for me, I think AJ is the top guy right now in the world. Rusev, he's another one. He has become very entertaining, both on the mic and in the ring. I think it's kind of sad that they're just kind of using this as a filler for AJ until the next big match comes up for SummerSlam. At least that's what's been written and talked about. It's just kind of an interim rivalry until the next big one, which is going to build up to SummerSlam, of course. The only thing I really do not like about SmackDown right now is the fact that the WWE Championship has kind of become secondary to the Universal title. And I understand the Universal title was a brand new championship. They wanted to build it up and make it important, and it's the top title on Raw. And they put it on Brock to kind of elevate it and things like that. They put it on Finn Balor first, I think, just to kind of to make the fans happy, because Finn Balor is so over with all the fans. And he had just been called up to Raw, wins the Universal title, and I think they did kind of make the fans happy, like I said, because that title was not well received You know, the name, the actual belt itself, people just didn't like it, didn't get behind it. So I think their thinking was putting it on Balor, kind of, you know, open the fans up to a little more, and I think it worked. And same thing with putting it on Kevin Owens. You know, he was another one that the fans were really behind, and so, you know, I think they did really well at getting the fans to accept it as a top title. But I think when they put it on Brock, they, you know, they kind of, I guess they tried to elevate it higher than the WWE title, which it has for so many years been the #1 championship in WWE. I mean, that title goes back 50 years, spawned from the original NWA World Championship, and of course that goes back to the beginning part of the 20th century, all the way back to like 1905 with the original World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship, back when wrestling was actually a sporting competition, wasn't predetermined or anything. So I'm not fond of the fact that the WWE Championship has kind of dropped in to like a secondary, not a secondary title, but it's just kind of, it's not viewed, I don't think, on the same level as the Universal title, which is kind of sad to me. But anyway, looking for AJ to come out of this one still the champion. Should be a good match. I mean, so far, you know, from what I've seen, I think all these matches are going to be good. The guys that are in the matches, I don't think anybody can have any complaints about. Moving on from there, we've got the United States Championship, Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This, you know, again, it's a fairly new rivalry. This one I'm hoping they keep going for a little while, because it's two of my personal favorites, Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy, and you know, I can see them, you know, between the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title, I think those are going to be the two matches to watch tonight. I think they're going to be the best matches on the card. One of them or both of them should steal the show if these guys are allowed to just go out there and just do their thing. You know, if they're not, don't have a lot of restrictions put on them or anything, which, you know, hopefully they don't. Of course, another part coming up tonight is Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. This is something that's been building on Raw for a while. Of course, Constable Corbin kind of been your typical thorn in the side authority figure since he got that post from Stephanie McMahon. So this one, yeah, I'm not really sure what direction they're looking to go with this one. I mean, Finn is he's still should be one of the top guys on Raw. Hasn't really been put into any title pictures or anything like that. I think you know, the powers that be, i.e. Vince McMahon, may be a little I don't know, a little, not really against the idea of putting him in a title picture or in the title picture, but because of his size and because he did get injured in the match where he won the Universal title originally, I think they're just kind of, I guess, holding off would be the best way to put it, to just to make sure, you know, see how long he goes without racking up any more injuries or things like that. Because, I mean, he's obviously one of the top fan favorites on Raw. Corbin, I think, since he kind of got this new look and new position of authority, I think he's taken to it very well. So he definitely plays the part of that authority figure very well. So I think this is going to be a good match between these two. I think it's a decent storyline. I don't know how far they can really take it, because there's only so much you can do with that particular story. You know, the authority figure and the guy who's kind of, you know, bucking the authority, so to speak. But it's definitely going to be an entertaining match to watch. And then, of course, I think one that a lot of people are looking forward to, that's just going to be a fun match to watch, with two really entertaining guys, and not just entertaining, but also two greats in the ring, two completely different styles, and that's a steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, again, one of the top, you know, I'd put him in the top 10, top 15 in the world right now of active professional wrestlers, be it WWE, Indies, whatever. You know, I would definitely put him on that list. Some people might even put him top 5. I mean, he is fantastic in the ring for his size, the way that he can move, some of the things he can do, the high-flying stuff. He is definitely one of the greats. And Strowman right now is the best big man in wrestling, bar none. I mean, he's, what, 6'8", 6'10", something like that, almost 400 pounds. and he can move like a cruiserweight, but he doesn't. He can do all the crazy stuff and high flying stuff, but he knows he doesn't need to. He's that great just monster in the ring, but then he's also got the personality to entertain the fans, make people laugh. And he is, like I said, the best big guy in professional wrestling today. I'll argue that with anybody. I would love to see Strowman be the one to take that title off of Lesnar. Of course, he's got the Money in the Bank briefcase right now. Now, Lesnar is not going to be at Extreme Rules tonight, but supposedly he has been confirmed for SummerSlam now. He will be defending the Universal title. Of course, I think everybody knows he's going back to UFC in the early part of 2019. So odds are he's going to be dropping that Universal title come SummerSlam. I talked about it last week. I don't think WWE is going to let that title lie dormant for 8-9 months while he's training and preparing for this UFC fight or things like that. So I don't see Brock holding that title past SummerSlam. And that kind of brings us to the last match on the card, which will most likely end up being the main event, I would think, is Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. This has been a decent rivalry. I definitely think it's a step up from Lashley's rivalry with Sami Zayn. As far as Lashley goes, I think they're letting him talk too much. Lashley is one, he to me is on the same level as Strowman, meaning, he is that monster in the ring. He's got size, he's got strength, he's got speed, he's got the MMA background to just be a legit badass in the ring. And, he's one, he doesn't need to talk a whole lot. Just let him go out there and beat people up. I mean, the fans are already behind him. If he didn't lose the fans after that Sami Zayn storyline rivalry that he had, I'm pretty sure he's not going to lose the fans. So, unfortunately for this one, I'm pretty sure Roman's going to come out on top. And I've said a million times I have nothing against Roman. I just don't think, the fans just don't accept him as the top guy. It's just a fact. People say, oh, he's forced down our throats and this and that. But, I've said it over and over again. Roman works his ass off. He's, as far as his work ethic, by all accounts, he's earned the spot that he's in. I don't get when people say he hasn't earned it, he's been given everything. How has he not earned it? He's in that ring day in and day out. He does the publicity. He is the company guy. Just like he is the next coming of Cena, who was the next coming of The Rock, who was the next coming of Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's a natural progression. You put all these guys side by side. Roman fits that mold perfectly. You got Hogan, you got The Rock, you got Cena, you got Roman Reigns. That's a natural progression to me. And, Roman definitely belongs in that spot. I just think it's really unfortunate that the fans don't want to accept it. And it's just a small grouping of fans that kind of, whose voices are just that much louder than everybody else is basically what it is as far as I'm concerned. But so yeah, Roman most likely is going to win this match. I am fairly certain is going to end up being a number one contenders match. So like I said, I'm looking for Roman to win this one, probably go on to SummerSlam to face Brock one more time. Of course, they could also go the direction of the old standby, the triple threat match, which I do think is way overused nowadays, but it is what it is. So you could see Roman, Lashley, and Brock in that match at SummerSlam for the Universal title. And don't be surprised if you see Strowman get involved in that match at SummerSlam as well, because he does have the Money in the Bank briefcase, like I mentioned a little while ago. So I could see him either inserting himself into the match and making it a fatal four-way right off the bat, or coming out at the end of the match and just destroying whoever happens to win, whether it's Brock or Roman or Lashley. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say at SummerSlam, you're going to see Braun Strowman as the Universal Champion. How long he holds that title, that's another story, because I do think it's going to end up going to Roman Reigns at some point. But I'm thinking at SummerSlam, you're going to probably see Strowman come away with that belt one way or another. So another interesting story that just came out today is that Hulk Hogan, after 3 years, has been reinstated into the WWE Hall of Fame. This was posted on WWE's Twitter account earlier today, and I'd say well deserved. I mean, Hogan has been working the last 3 years to kind of restore his name to make up for what he did, and there's going to be some people that forgive him. There's going to be some people that don't. I mean, some people can get past those things and accept a person's apology, accept the work that they've put in to try and redeem themselves, and some people just don't accept those things, and that's simply the way it is. That's human nature. I'm not saying either one is right or wrong. It's not my place to say either one is right or wrong, for that matter. But so yeah, Hogan reinstated into the Hall of Fame, and there's been rumors going around that he may be at the pay-per-view tonight. Of course, pay-per-view Extreme Rules is in Pittsburgh, and Hogan, I guess, was seen flying into Cleveland, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from Pittsburgh. So, and of course, the WWE will do that on occasion when they're trying to keep an appearance secret. They will fly the talent into a nearby city and drive them to the event rather than flying him into the event city. So that could be the case with this, or it could just be sheer coincidence. Hogan may not even be anywhere near Pittsburgh. You never know. Have to wait and see. But it's definitely interesting rumor to follow, because rumors have been running rampant the last few months about Hogan rejoining WWE. He, of course, has fed those rumors himself, saying that the talks are ongoing. He wants to go back. That's never been a secret. And he has put in work to try to redeem himself, make up for the mistakes that he made. And like I said, it's not my place to say if he's accomplished that or not. That's for other people to decide. Would I be happy to see Hulk Hogan back in WWE? Yes, I would. I mean, Hulk Hogan, pretty much made the WWE back in the mid '80s. If it wasn't for Hogan, who knows where WWE would be today? Who knows if it ever would have become as big as it did back in the '80s? So I think he belongs in WWE. And yeah, I'd definitely be happy to see him there, because I mean, he's not going to be a full-time wrestler. He's not going to come in and win the championship or anything like that. He probably will never wrestle a match again, more than likely, just because of the back issues that he's had. But then again, they've allowed Kurt Angle to get back in the ring a couple of times with the severe neck injuries that he's had. Of course, obviously they're healed by now, but there's always, lasting damage when anything you're dealing with the spine. But so we'll have to wait and see as far as wrestling. I know Hogan says he can still go. I highly doubt that they would let him get in the ring unless it's some kind of special attraction match at WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, of course, there's more rumors going around that in 2020, WWE will be holding 2 WrestleMania events. One in the U.S. in April, like a normal year, and another one in October, sometime outside the U.S. And more than likely, I think it would be London, because that's their biggest market outside of the U.S. is in the U.K. So, I mean, pulling off 2 major WrestleMania size events in 1 year, I think would be a huge undertaking. But if anybody can pull it off, it is the WWE. It wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if this actually happens. It would definitely increase their audience. I think fans in the UK have been clamoring for a WrestleMania there for a very long time. It's been asked a million different ways, a million different times by a million different fans. Will you ever hold a WrestleMania in London? And Triple H and the powers that be at WWE have kind of been, not really straightforward with it. So if there is any truth to this rumor, it's probably something that's been in the works for a while, just figuring out the logistics and the timing and things like that. And of course, the WWE just introduced their new NXT UK division, so that's another indication that they are going to do a big event like that outside the US. It would probably be in London. So that's definitely something to watch. And again, that would be an opportunity, I think, to kind of reintroduce Hulk Hogan to a new generation of fans as a wrestler, if that's the route they're going to go. Personally, I don't think they will. I think he'll be more of an ambassador, possibly even like an authority figure. He may end up as a GM or something along those lines. But like I said, it'd be good to see Hogan back in the ring. He's always fun to watch, whether even if it's just him cutting promos on people and things like that. So we'll have to watch and see how this one plays out. See if he shows up tonight, possibly tomorrow on Raw in Buffalo, I believe it is. So, but with WWE actually making that announcement today that he's been reinstated in the Hall of Fame, I would say his return to WWE television is pretty much imminent. So it could be any time. And that's really all I got for this week. Hope you guys like the show. Like I said, make sure you like, follow, subscribe. You can find the show on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. You can find the video feed as well as the audio podcast. Make sure you like and follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. If you want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. And I will see you guys next week. Hope everybody enjoys Extreme Rules tonight. And I will talk to you guys soon.